This is Solve It for Kids.
Hello, my amazing and curious friends. My name is Jennifer, the Dean of all things STEM and STEAM, and this is Solve It for Kids, the podcast that gives kids and families a peek inside the real world of scientists, engineers, and experts as they solve problems in their jobs using creativity, cooperation, and critical thinking. And now please welcome to the show my podcast partner, Galactic Space Geek, Jeff Gagne.
Oh yeah, hello Jennifer and hello listeners. What an episode we have for you today. We need to get straight into it.
We do. This is going to be so much fun. What problem are we solving today?
How can you use music to get kids excited about STEM?
How can you use music to get kids excited about STEM? I think we might have a song or two in this one from our guest. Who is our guest today, Jeff?
Here's the deal. Our guest today is an incredible gentleman. His name is Victor Villegas. Listen up, everybody. During the day, he works at Oregon State University as their Broadband and Digital Technologies Adoption Coordinator. That sounds all serious and adult-like, but he is also known as the DroneSinger, or the Weird Al of drones.
Welcome to the show, Victor.
Thank you. Muchas gracias. Happy to be here.
We are thrilled to have you. This is going to be such a fun episode, I think.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So we are going to talk all about music and how you can use it to make kids excited about STEM. So I have to ask you, as a kid, were you always into music?
Absolutely. My parents both loved music, and we had instruments laying around the house. They did this on purpose because they wanted us kids to learn music. So they, on purpose, had just different instruments laying around the house, and we naturally gravitated to that. And I learned guitar and piano and drums and pretty much anything I could get my hands on. My mom plays the piano and the organ. My dad plays guitar and mandolin. So yes, music was a big part growing up.
That's fantastic.
Okay. Yeah, you said you had instruments just laying around the house, and you just mentioned a couple. I'm wondering right away, did you have instruments laying around the house that your mom or dad did not play, but just for you to be able to start learning?
Kind of, sort of. I mean, there was instruments that they played somewhat, but maybe they didn't play it to a very high level. And then I took it to the next level.
Okay. And then I've got to ask, of all those instruments, which one did you sort of latch on to first?
Oh my word. That's a tough one. It's kind of, saying who's your favorite child and things like that. But I'm a multi-instrumentalist, and the one I attach to the best is the one I have in my hands at the moment, right? So
okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
That's fabulous. So can you tell us a little bit about what it was like growing up in a house full of music? My mom played piano, she played guitar, she played organ for the church. So it's a very unique upbringing, isn't it? It's
Absolutely.
It's like joyful or something.
Yeah, I loved it. We would sing, we would sing together, especially around Christmas times, holiday season.
We did that.
We're involved with church stuff too. My folks had records, 8-track tapes for those who are old enough to remember what those things were.
I remember those.
So I'd listen to records of like Chet Atkins and playing music. Ooh. We went on TV with the Lawrence Welk show and the accordion. My mom also played accordion. So it was. I just can't remember a time that we did not have music at home. It was just natural.
That was so. All right, I have to ask you a question since you brought up kind of old shows. Did you ever watch Name That Tune?
Oh, absolutely.
So for those of you that are like, I have no idea what this show is, they would be like, can you name this tune in so many notes?
Right. And we're trying to see can you do it in like 3 notes or less, right?
Exactly. Yeah, we did that as a family too.
One of our favorite shows. One of my favorite shows.
I know. That's so great.
So starting out in a house full of music,
Yeah.
did you end up continuing straight on, or did you get away from music and then come back to it later on in life?
No, it's always been a part of my life. I mean, I was like writing songs since I was a kid. My
Oh,
parents encouraged it and
wow.
also wrote songs. I started taking formal music lessons when I was in first grade. I took like 3 weeks of piano and then decided I hated practicing.
Yeah.
My sister continued, and she's a great piano player, and she plays, by note. But I decided that was like too strict for me. I later came back to piano back in high school and just learned how to play it by ear. Pretty good to the
Wow.
point where people think
Oh.
I've taken a lot of lessons. But I have taken a lot of music lessons outside of piano. So
Right.
let's
Okay.
see. I was very fortunate to go to school. We're in an elementary where we're taught to play the recorder, the flute.
Yes.
Sure.
You did that too?
Love the
Yeah. So that
recorder.
was one of my first instrument. Actually, I was in kindergarten. So when we lived in Mexico for a while,
Right.
and believe it or not, they taught us how to play marching Mexican band on a drum. So they have bugle and drum corps in Mexico.
Wow.
Okay.
And we played and learned some of the cadences that drum and bugle corps. We didn't have bugles for the kindergartners, but we had little drums. We had little drums.
Yeah.
And we played the same things that, the basic stuff. And we actually marched
Wow.
for the Independence Day celebration in Mexico, along with all the other bands, and we
Nice.
were kindergartners, right?
That
But
is awesome.
that started the
Terrific.
rhythm. That started
Yeah.
the rhythm, and once you have the rhythm, the other stuff starts falling in place. And I
Exactly.
took guitar from my dad, and then took some more formal lessons. In high school, my main instrument was a trumpet, so I played that in band.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. And I just keep on adding instruments. I collect instruments and learn how to play them. Well, if you were able to see, I got like a trumpet back here. I got a guitar here, another guitar, a ukulele,
Wow.
a bunch of electronic synthesizers. I got a marimba on the other side.
Wow.
I even learned how to play bagpipes at one point, although it's been a while since I played that.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
I understand
Wow.
those are difficult to play too.
They
aren't
can
they?
be challenging,
Yeah.
but it's just like everything else. You do it enough and you work at it, you can learn it.
That's fabulous. Okay, so now we have the music. How did
Uh-huh.
we get to the love of science, technology, engineering, art, and math? How did you kind of start that and then bring them all together?
I've been very fortunate to have parents that encourage me to follow my passions and my interests. And from very young, I'd love going to libraries and museums.
Me
And
too.
Okay.
Me too.
Nice.
Yes.
I loved learning. I just love learning.
Me too.
And anything I could get my hands on. Reading. Once I learned how to read, oh my word, everything was open to me.
Yes.
And I would just go to the libraries. And my main interests at the time were airplanes, aviation.
Yep.
I wanted to be a pilot. Loved art. I wanted to be an artist and a photographer. One of my grandfathers was a professional photographer.
Wow.
So I kind of want to follow that. And I wanted to later on work with technology. But the thing is, I didn't want to do one thing or the next. I wanted to do all at the same time, right? So I wanted to be a flying photographer who played guitar and taught and worked with technology.
Oh yeah, I have that problem. When I was in high school, I wanted to be an organ transplant surgeon, astronaut. Which
well, the thing is,
I mean, they still don't have that, but
I've
that's
been
what I
able
wanted
to put
to
all
be.
those things together, though. That's the amazing thing,
Right?
That's the best thing about these stories in these episodes with this podcast. I was just thinking, as both of you were talking about your wide varieties, I was like, okay, I could picture Victor going to his mom and dad saying, Mom, Dad, I definitely want to go to college, but I don't see one where I can be a flying guitar playing librarian as a major. So what do you want me to do?
Yeah, I made my own major, basically.
There you go.
Yeah, so I took 2 years of aviation right out of high school.
Okay.
Decided that I learned how to fly, but I did not make
yay.
that a career. And then I switched to graphics technology because that's back in the 80s.
Yep.
The desktop computers were coming along.
Oh,
Apple,
yeah.
I got a Mac, SE, the one and all. and taught myself that. And I worked in commercial printing and digital publishing for a long time.
Oh, wow.
But I still had the music, and I would like play still for weddings and whatnot on the side. I owned my own media production company at one point, and so that was my photography and video thing that I wanted to do. And then I still flew airplanes, except model airplanes, right? So that was my aviation side of things. So I never gave up on things. I was just putting them all, they were kind of separate somewhat. However, when I got this job at Oregon State University and doing tech support and training on technologies, I learned that we were using drones for research at the university. And I go, I got to find out about that. And so I looked into information about that. And this newfangled thing that was called drones, right? I knew how to fly RC airplanes. And we used to have these motors. We had the special gas, and it was very smelly and messy, and you had to fiddle with it. Well, now with electric motors on the drones, it was so simple. You just put a battery, turn it on, and boom, you're flying. They basically fly themselves, so you didn't have to worry about crashing them too easily. They're still crashable, but it was so much easier than the traditional remote control, RC airplanes. So that was awesome. And I started getting back into aviation more through the drone stuff. So how does this tie all in together? I was teaching faculty and staff how to use social media, but I wasn't getting a lot of traction because they thought that was a fad or that was not something that related to them. And I said, I got to take a step back, and I have to give them a reason why to use social media, and then they'll be interested in the how, right? So I stopped showing the how, and I said, why? So I said, how can I show them the value of social media? And I said, what do I know? Okay, this was back in 2014, and I knew drones were going to be a very popular gift item for Christmas.
Right.
And I said, okay, I know drones, I know aviation, I know technology, I know social media. And the whole purpose was this, to do a case study on how to use social media for impact.
Right.
And I decided, okay, why don't I do a public service announcement about flying drones safely and responsibly in the airspace?
Okay.
To make it go viral, I'm going to have some type of hook. So I said, I know music, so why don't I do a parody song about a Christmas song, but make it about drone safety and then put that out on social media.
Oh my gosh. I love it.
Drone safety. Yeah, I think that was on my Time Life Treasury at Christmas album.
So I did that. I created the first one, and I created a video to go along with it too, right? Because I have my media background, my photography. So all my aviation, photography, music, technology, education interests that I've had all came together for one thing. And it was very focused. So the first song that I created, it was based on the Christmas song, I'll Be Home for Christmas. I'll be home for Christmas. But I changed the lyrics to, if you get a drone for Christmas, be sure you fly safely below 400. So I went over kind of like the FAA guidelines for flying, but I put it in the song. And I made a music video of it with animations, to get kids interested in that. The FAA had their video, but it was like so boring. Kids would have, the first 2 seconds, like, no. And so I put mine out. They had a hashtag saying fly safely or something like that. Hashtag fly safely. Right. And I kind of hijacked the FAA's hashtag and started putting my video. And as people from the drone industry saw that, and I was asking them, which one do you prefer, the FAA's video or my video? And there's like, yours. So it's like, can you make more? And I go, I guess so. I was only going to do one. Yeah. And so I made a series of drone carols, what I call drone carols.
Oh my God.
All about drone safety, and put them online. And I created a monster. This was no budget, just the idea, freely available tools. Wow. And it just went gangbusters. And I became DroneSinger, the Weird Al of drones. I started getting interviews, just like this that I'm doing here. People start calling me up. It's like, you're in technology and you drone safety stuff. What the heck is that? And can we interview you? And that led to me being like the default drone guy for extension, OSC extension. And I'd have people calling me about how do I get into drones, and how do I use drones in agriculture, and all these, questions about drones, because we didn't have anyone specific for that. And I was the closest thing to it. So I was giving information about drone technology, drone regulations, and I was very active online on different forums, to the point that made me like moderator for a couple of these things.
Oh my gosh.
That led to an invitation from USDA NIFA to be part of a drone in agriculture group that shared information about research using drones in agriculture at different land-grant universities. And I became the technology communications person for that group. So I was doing the videos and the webinars and putting stuff up on YouTube and doing social media to talk about drone technology, all because of my silly drone songs.
Right. Well, and I'm wondering, so in the end, did you convince the original people that you were trying to show?
Oh, absolutely.
Social media was worth it.
Yeah. I was like, how did you do that? Where did you get the money? It's like, you just have to have a really good idea, and you have to be consistent with your message and put it out there. And if you do it correctly, people will start coming to you. I was getting people offering me, money and drones to come out and talk to them about things. And of course, I already work for the university, but it just put me on the map. It was something weird and different, and it was at the right place at the right time, as drone technology was starting to, it's like today, now it's AI, right? So if you can come up with some way of talking about AI and that's different than anybody else, you'll be getting attention, right? So drones back then, AI now, and who knows what it will be in a couple of years. There's always something. So I'm always on the lookout to what's the future, virtual reality, augmented reality, but how can you put your own spin to it? From that drone stuff, I launched into using STEAM, the arts, to get kids interested in science, technology, engineering, math. So I've been invited to be part of like 4-H workshops, where I did drone workshops and I sing some of my drone songs. I'm still a part of the Mariachi STEAM Camp. We have a summer camp for middle school and high school youth, Latino youth. We give them a whole week of a campus experience, bring them to campus.
Right.
They live in the dorms, eat in the cafeterias. They practice mariachi music, learn about mariachi history and the culture. That's their background. That's the draw for them. It's the music. Wow. Once we have them on campus, though, we can expose them to all the science, technology, engineering, and math behind music, right?
Yes.
So like some of the projects that we've worked with them is programming an Arduino to play mariachi music. Or going out to one of the NOAA boats, the Oregon State University out at the coast has a NOAA boat, right? The National Oceanographic Atmospheric Association.
It's a big long word.
NOAA. They went out on one of the research vessels and were able to play some of their instruments into the water and through like microphones, and then have the audio be picked up by sonar, and then seeing what that looked like on.
No kidding.
So we're talking about
if there were any Navy ships off their subs, they were like, "What are we listening to?"
Yeah, what's the difference between a seal and a violin, or a vihuela, or a guitar through the water? So it's all come together. All my interests have kind of been able to take advantage of them to inspire, hopefully, youth to learn about science, technology, and engineering and math in a way that is more safe and culturally appropriate.
Right.
A lot of kids from my community do not have that science background. They weren't maybe not as fortunate as myself to have parents who took me to the library, took me to museums, and let me explore different things. I've had, that privilege, and I want to make sure that youth are able to see that they also have those opportunities. And so we provide these types of programming, right? Whether it's a presentation, it's experiential learning. I go to schools also and talk.
That sounds so fun. Yeah.
It does. It really does. And I love that it plays into the work that you do at Oregon State. Do you have a good story from sharing, whether it's one of your mariachi camps or whether it's one of your drone stories, where you heard about an impact that you made through what you're doing?
Absolutely. So in one of my drone workshops at the 4-H camp for migrant youth, I was doing the drone workshop, which I've done a lot of those, and I still do for that particular camp every year. I had a student come, really excited. It's like, oh, what are we doing in this workshop? And I said, science. And his face turned like,
oh, yeah. I've seen that. I've seen that.
Mom, don't drop me off. You left me at the wrong place.
Exactly. It's like, I don't know. I don't think I want to be here. And I go, no, wait, give me a chance. Give me a chance. Just stay for the hour, see what happens, And I start my drone workshop with a drone song, right? The Drones Are Cool song. And he's like, huh? What is this?
Right. I guess I'll stay a little longer just to see what this guy's going to do.
Right. Yeah. And then sometimes I even have some of my puppets, and I'll bring a puppet out and talk about drones or science. And I look for any possible hook to get kids interested. And many times it's the arts, right? Whether that's music, poetry, puppetry. It's something that's more relatable to them if they haven't been involved with STEM. So I want to ground them in something that they are familiar with, which is usually the arts, because almost everyone listens to music or is interested or watches TV or, to whatnot. And so they're familiar with that. That gives them a little bit of comfort. It's not as scary. And then I layer the science, technology, engineering, math on top of that. How does that relate to what you already know?
Yes.
Especially with Latino Hispanic youth, we're doing the Mariachi STEAM camp. They know the culture, they know the music.
Right.
And now, did you know that you could program a computer to play that music? Or did you know how does your instrument make sound? Why does a trumpet sound different from a guitar or a violin? So we go into the science behind that, audio frequencies.
I love
amplitude.
I love that.
We're describing these things, and now it makes sense to them because it relates to something that they are already passionate about, and it's not this just big scary thing.
Right. Well, and it probably gets them more curious too, which is of course what we want for all of that. I mean, I get the whole oh gosh science because I write science books for kids, so I do lots of presentation for teachers, and there was one time where I didn't have like my slides up, right? And like these 7 teachers come walking in, and there's like a couple other teachers, and they all sit at this big table like right in front, and they're all excited. And I put my slide up, and it says, Jennifer Swanson, science, and they all went, oh no, oh no. All 7 of them get up and walk out.
Oh wow. No.
And leave me with 3 people, and I'm standing there looking at the 3 people, and I go, are you staying?
Yeah. Well, that's why I usually start with the song, because that intrigues them. It's different.
But you know what? Those 3 people later, one of them came up to me and goes, well, I wanted to leave too because it said but I felt so bad for you because everybody else left. But she said, she said the same thing as you. She said, I loved it. I never thought about science with books and literacy and all of these activities that you do. She goes, I'm really glad I stayed. So,
well, this kid, like I said, at first he was very apprehensive about it. And he did stay at the very end after we did all these fun things, including he learned how to fly a drone by himself.
Oh, right there.
Which was amazing. And at the very end, I asked him, well, do you know what we just did? And he goes, what? Science. And he's like, that was science? Yeah.
I love it.
I didn't know it could be so fun.
Right? Yeah. That's fabulous.
He went away from that, knowing that science is not just this, boring, scary thing. It can actually be something fun and exciting.
That's fantastic. So I have a question for you. Can you play a song for us here?
Sure. Absolutely. I can play the song that I play for the start of every drone workshop, which is called Drones Are Cool. And this song is slightly, based on a couple of songs. Let's see here. What I Like About You and Good Loving. So it's a semi-parody. It's not a perfect parody, but you'll hear, parts of the melody in there. It's called Drones Are Cool, and it talks about technology that drones have. So
Cool.
It's actually educating as well as entertaining at the same time. So there's also a part where you have to join in the chorus. And so I usually point to the kids and have them sing along with me. It's really easy in the chorus. You'll know when they come in. With YouTube, it might be a little difficult because there's a lag. So
yeah.
But just so you know, this is a participatory thing. Okay, so here we go. Hey. Aha. Let me tell you about drones. Just listen to me sing. They are cool flying robots with awesome technology. Yeah, they have IMUs to help stabilize. Some have GPS to guide them in the sky and fly autonomously. Singing, yeah, 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 yeah. And this is where I get the kids to go, yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Say it loud. Say it clear. Drones are cool. Yeah. Drones are what?
Cool.
Yeah, drones are cool. There are different kinds of drones. Some are small, some are big. There are even drones that race and fly FPV. Yeah, there are multi-rotor drones. Some are fixed wing. They are controlled via radio frequencies. They are used for many different things. Singing, yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Say it loud, say it clear. What? Drones are cool. Yeah. Drones are cool. Okay, one more verse. If you want to fly drones, please fly responsibly. Stay away from airplanes and airports. Yes, indeed. Yeah, read the manual through and through and learn to calibrate, or you might crash and it's too late. Fly your drone, but fly safely. Singing, yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah.
Say it loud, say it clear. What?
Drones are cool.
Yeah, you got it. Drones are cool.
That was awesome.
Okay, so listeners, we promise that we'll put the other video on there so you can hear it better, so it's not kind of crazy with all the music. But that was fantastic, Victor.
Yes.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh, the creativity, exactly what you were talking about earlier. You find the next cool thing that people want to know about, and you know they're going to be interested in, whether they really do it or not. Everybody likes to fly a drone at least a few times.
Yeah.
Just to see what it's about. And to turn it into not just a song, but a parody where people will be already tapping their toe, even if they don't know they're going to be.
Yeah.
Genius. That's genius.
That was awesome.
I've had teachers tell me that, they get back to the classroom and I have the kids singing, drones are cool, drones are cool, drones are cool. Because it's just in your head, which is like, yeah. I've done all kinds of music. I have one music video that is based on the Star Wars theme. It's actually the Star Wars music, and it's called Star Wars Drone. And it's up on YouTube. You can find it, Star Wars Drones. And it talks about these drones that were built to look like some of the Star Wars vehicles. I went out to the internet looking for people that were building their own drones, and some of them built drones that look like a TIE fighter and the Millennium Falcon. And so I asked for permission to use those videos, and I used those videos to make talking about the Star Wars drones. And that's been, someone told me, you've ruined the Star Wars theme for me, because now I just think about the Star Wars drone. Like, you're welcome.
Yeah, I have done my job. Nice.
Yes, that's awesome.
So with all of the things this is all stuff you have done, is there anything in the Victor hopper that's brewing and working right now?
Yes. Yeah. Always. I've got
something you can tell us about.
Sure. One thing that I would like to, talking about AI, and then it's the in thing.
Right.
I haven't been able to convince a teacher just yet on this, because it's still kind of new and they're kind of scared about it. But using artificial intelligence to talk about not just the science, but how anyone can be creative, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
When you ask people, are you an artist? Some people will say yes, other people will say no, and they said you're either born with it or you're not. That's not true.
No.
Okay, that is not true, but a lot of people
Right.
believe that, especially the older you get. For some reason in school, at some point, kids believe that they can become or are one or they can't, and that's it,
Right.
Yeah.
So with AI, we can remove all of the technical skill and training you have to go to if you're not naturally gifted for that, and be a very good artist. You just have to be very good at describing something.
Yes.
Right. And so being able to use technology to help them communicate a thought or idea in a very cool, professional way just gives them that much more confidence, right?
Yes.
Right.
But also a very targeted communication, because I'm interested in STEAM, using AI to talk about science, technology, engineering, math, using AI to communicate to others about that.
Right. Right.
So science communication, basically, right? So how can this is training the science communicators of the future, starting in elementary and middle school, using AI to give them those tools, because this is what they'll be using as they're growing up. And so now we're removing the barrier of having to be a professional artist. You just have to communicate an idea, okay? Which is what I've been doing with my music, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And so I can help facilitate them learning how to focus their ideas to communicate another idea. Here's an example. I have done workshops, and I have a template that I used, which is really cool, to work with kids to learn how to create a poem or a song about a science topic.
Ah, okay.
And so there's actually a template. I call it the creative wagon. So it's kind of like, the old time wagons that they came to Oregon. Well, I'm in Oregon, so we have the Oregon.
Yes.
So you have the body of the wagon, which is a rectangle, and you have 4 wheels, which are 4 circles. In the main rectangle, and this is going to be part of the challenge that I'm going to give people.
Cool.
So in the rectangle, you put the topic that you want to talk about. Okay, that's your subject matter. That could also be the title of your poem or your song.
Okay.
That's your main thing. And now each wheel could be like a verse or a line or a phrase or an idea that goes back to that topic.
Okay.
For example, let's talk about butterflies. So butterflies is my topic, and each circle has to give me one fact about butterflies. So monarch butterflies fly thousands of miles from Mexico to North America each year, right? Okay, that's one fact. How long do they live? I don't know that. I have to look that up. But I have the kids research some of this stuff, right? Either ask their teacher, or we could Google it up on the internet. And so we got fact number 2, fact number 3, fact number 4. Now, how can we turn each of those into 4 different lines? And I help them, with the rhyming process of it. Yeah. But it's that thought process, and I don't give them all the answers. I just guide it. Guide it.
Yes.
And I said, okay, what rhymes with this? Give me words, give me thoughts and ideas around the topic of butterflies. And then we start looking for words and phrases that kind of rhyme, and we start putting those and moving there. It's a very messy process. We put it on a big old board. And
creativity can be
messy,
right?
It's messy.
It's best when it's messy.
And this is what makes it so fun, because usually kids are very fearful of making the wrong thing. Math. You either get it right or you get it wrong. With this, there's not necessarily a wrong answer. It's your creativity that's coming and making the answers for these things. I just kind of help guide it. So it's a very easy way to learn about science communication, and they are the communicators, which, I'm the expert in the arts thing and arts communication. And the technology, but they're the ones, that's their message,
Right, which makes it more powerful.
Absolutely, because now they're the ones that are producing this stuff. It's their song, it's their poem, and if they create it, they're invested in it.
Yes, exactly.
And that sticks with them.
Yeah.
And once they find out, hey, we do this in an hour, we actually have an actual song in 1 hour. I've done it over and over again. In 1 hour, we can come up with at least one verse and one chorus, sometimes even 2 verses and a chorus within an hour. And at the end, I says, look what we did. As a group, you guys came up with a song about some, butterflies, dolphins, or, technology, robot.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, that's awesome. So this has been so fun, and I loved the music, the song. But we're at the point in our show where we ask our guests to give our listeners a challenge, and this seems to segue right from what you were talking about. So what's your challenge, Victor?
Perfect. So my challenge, well, you heard about how I have this framework, right? I have the wagon framework. So grab a piece of paper, put a rectangle in the middle with 4 circles on each corner, so it looks kind of like a wagon. In that big rectangle, put your topic. And each one of those circles, put a fact, a scientific fact about that topic. And then get another sheet of paper, do another rectangle, 4 other circles, and now write words and phrases about that particular fact. Okay. That slowly starts getting you lines and verses, either for a poem or a song. Well, I mean, song is basically poetry put to music.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
To make it easy to make a song, you don't have to come up with an original melody or song. You can take an existing song like the Itsy Bitsy Spider or Now I Know My ABCs or Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and then try to put those words and phrases to match that. And so you're making a parody, just like I do parodies about drones. You do a science parody. I did one about the sound of science based on The Sound of Silence by Simon and Garfunkel.
Oh, wow.
And you can look at my videos to kind of see for examples and stuff. Like I got stuff on Instagram and YouTube and SoundCloud that people can go and watch.
We will definitely share that.
Yeah, we'll definitely put that on our website. Everybody check out our website.
So that's the challenge. Make a poem or song using that framework about that. And I'd love to hear about it on social media, just do an @DroneSinger for me on most of the media channels. I'll be able to see it, or hashtag DroneSinger, and I'll look for that.
That's fantastic. Oh my gosh. This has been such an amazing episode, Victor. Thank you for inspiring kids through music. And thank you so much for being on Solve It for Kids.
Thank you for the invitation. It's been a pleasure. I love this. And thank you for all you do, because anything we can do to get kids interested in this is amazing.
It is. It truly is.
What a fun episode. Oh my goodness. Now I understand why everybody who meets him loves him. How can you not?
Absolutely.
And I will definitely be listening to more of his songs and checking out his YouTube. How about that challenge, Jennifer? Having listeners create their own song using his wagon framework and facts about something that you're going to write a song about.
Yeah, I love that. And it could be a song, it could be a poem, you could write a little story, so you could even create art. So it's whatever you feel like, how you feel expressing yourself. But I love this because, again, this is a way of showing that STEM is actually STEAM. There's art involved, and you have to use whatever you like, over the place. Right? To answer questions, to help people learn things. You can even use this in studying, right? You kind of draw the little picture and maybe get a topic. So if you come up with a good song or you want to share your framework or some type of artwork with us, please feel free to tag us on social media. We are @KidsSolve at Facebook, Instagram, and X. And don't forget to check out our website, solveitforkids.com. We will have videos of Victor on our website, so make sure you go check them out and listen to a couple of his songs, which are really fun. You can even sing along with them if you want.
Oh, they're catchy, and you will. And if you're one of those listeners thinking, I can't do songs or I can't do poems, Galactic Space Geek Jeff learned the planets with the mnemonic.
Yeah.
My very educated mother just served us 9 pizzas. Or now without Pluto, it's just served us nachos. You can use this in any creative way you want. Hopefully Victor has inspired you to do that. Until next time, You'll hear Jen and Jeff on Solve It for Kids.